Dear students, good morning to everybody. Right, welcome to class. Right, class. Subject English. I continue Jamaican fragment. Jamaican fragment is written by A.L. Hendricks. A.L. Hendricks. In the previous class, we came to know every day A.L. Hendricks took a walk from his house to the railway station, and while walking on the road, he was influenced by so many houses, garden, and other things. While going to railway station, one day, in front of a house in the garden, the two children were playing. Right? One is white boy, another one is black boy. Okay, white boy was commanding the black boy. Black boy obeyed all the orders of the white boy. Then A.L. Hendricks questioned himself. Many questions flashed in his mind. Of them, are the white people superior here in our own land? Are the black people slaves to them? Such questions. Let me continue from right. Now, read on silently. Seventh one, paragraph number 7. The next morning, the boys were there again, and a man was standing at the gate watching them. I stopped and looked, just to see what the white boy was making his little servant do. To my surprise, now the dark boy was commanding while the little white youngster did everything. The little dark boy was striding imperiously up and down the lawn, while the white youngster walked abjectly behind him. Right, students? The next morning, I saw the boys were there again. Here, and another one man was standing at the gate of his house watching these children. I was walking on the road. I here refers to A.L. Hendricks was walking on the road. He stopped there and looked at the boys with curiosity. What was his curiosity? To know what the white boy was doing. Does the white boy do what he did yesterday? Right. To my surprise, so there was surprise. I was surprised to see what happened. Today, the black boy was commanding, and who was walking like the slave? The white boy was walking like the slave. Okay, students, who was commanding here now? The black boy was commanding, right? So who was walking like the slave behind the black boy? The white boy, right? The little dark boy was striding imperiously up and down the lawn, while the white youngster walked abjectly behind him. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈತನ ಸರ್ಪ್ರೈಸ್ಗೆ ಏನಾಯ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನಿನ್ನೆ ದಿನ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ವೈಟ್ ಬಾಯ್ ಸೊ ಅವನು ಬಾಸ್ ಥರ ಬಿಹೇವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ. ಬಾಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ದಂಥ ಆರ್ಡರ್ಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನೂ ಕೂಡ ಫಾಲೋ ಅಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಬಾಯ್. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಬಾಯ್ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ವೈಟ್ ಬಾಯ್ ಅವುಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಫಾಲೋ ಅಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಗಮನಿಸ್ತೇವೆ. ಓಕೆ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಕಮ್ ಟು ಪ್ಯಾರಾಗ್ರಾಫ್ ನಂಬರ್ 8. Get me a banana. The little boy ran into the house and reappeared shortly with a banana. ಓಕೆ, ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಬಾಯ್ ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಹೇಳ್ದ, ಏಯ್ ಬಾಳೆಹಣ್ಣು ತಗೊಬರೋ ಅಂದ. ಗೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಎ ಬನಾನಾ. ಲಿಟ್ಲ್ ಬಾಯ್ ಅವನು ವೈಟ್ ಬಾಯ್ ಇದ್ದಂತನು ಮನೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಕೊಡೋದ, ತಕ್ಷಣದಲ್ಲೇ ಬನಾನ ತಂದ. ಪೇಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮೀ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಪ್ಪೆ ಸುಲಿಯೋ ಅಂದ. ದ ಲಿಟ್ಲ್ ವೈಟ್ ಬಾಯ್ ಪೀಲ್ಡ್ ದ ಬನಾನಾ. ಸಿಪ್ಪೆ ಸುಲ್ದ ಅಂಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡೆಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಟು ಹಿಸ್ ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಬಾಯ್. ಆ ಕಪ್ಪು ಯಜಮಾನನಿಗೆ ಆ ಹಣ್ಣನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟ. ಐ ಸಾ ಇಟ್ ನೌ. ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಪ್ಯಾರಾಗ್ರಾಫ್ ನಂಬರ್ 9. I saw it now. It indeed was a game I had played as a child. Each boy took it in turn every alternate day to be the boss, the other the slave. It had been great fun to me as a youngster. I smiled as I remembered. I looked at the man standing by the gate. He was a white man. I remembered what I had thought yesterday. He, no doubt, I thought to myself, was wondering if the black race is superior to the white. I laughed gently to myself. How silly we grown-ups are to misinterpret a child's action. This man, I said to myself, will be worrying all day. Perhaps he thinks the blacks will in the end rule over the whites. Now I will try to clarify and drive away all the doubts from his mind. All the doubts from his mind. See, I understood it now. I saw it now means I understood it now. ಈಗ ನನಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯಿತು. ಏನು? It is a game. It is a game. What is the name of the game? Boss and slave game. What is the name of the game? Boss and slave game. ನೋಡಪ್ಪ, ಈಗ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ನನಗೆ ಇದು. ರೈಟ್. Each boy took it in turn every alternate day to be the boss, the other the slave. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬ ಹುಡುಗನು ಸೊ one day one child becomes the boss, another child becomes the slave. One more day, next day the roles are exchanged, right? So black boy becomes the boss and white boy becomes the slave. So hige we see each boy took it in turn every alternate day to be the boss, the other the slave. It had been great fun to me as a youngster. As soon as I saw them, their game, it was a great fun for me. The author says, ನನಗೇನೋ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿ ತಮಾಷೆ ಅಂತ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು. ಇದು ತಮಾಷೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? ಸೊ ಐ ಸ್ಮೈಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಐ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ಡ್. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಸರಿ ನೆನಪಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡೆ. ಸೊ ಐ ಲಾಫ್ಡ್. ಐ ಲುಕ್ಡ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಬೈ ದ ಗೇಟ್. ಮ್ಯಾನ್. ಸೊ ಆ ಗೇಟ್ ಬಳಿ ನಿಂತಿರೋಂಥ ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದೆ. ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಎ ವೈಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್. ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಎ ವೈಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್. ಐ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಥಾಟ್ ಎಸ್ಟರ್ಡೇ. ಏನು ನಿನ್ನೆ ದಿನ ನಾನು ಆಲೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಏನಂತ ಆಲೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿದೆ? ಈಸ್ ದೇರ್ ದ ವೈಟ್ ರೇಸ್ superior to black race in our own land? So such questions came to my mind, right? The same thoughts he also got into the thought, right? He, no doubt, I thought to myself, was wondering if the black race is superior to the white. He is wondering, looking at their game. He thinks, is the black race superior to white race? I laughed gently to myself. I laughed to myself gently. How silly we grown-ups are to misinterpret the child's actions. ಈ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಒಂದು ವರ್ತನೆಯನ್ನು ನೋಡಿ, ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ನೋಡಿ, ನಾವು ದೊಡ್ಡವರಾದಂಥವರು ಎಷ್ಟರ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ನಾವು ತಪ್ಪರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಲ್ವಾ? ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಿಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ನಾವು. ದಿಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್, ಐ ಸೆಡ್ ಟು ಮೈ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್, ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ವರಿಂಗ್ ಆಲ್ ಡೇ. ಆಲ್ ಡೇ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತು. ಯಾರಿಗೆ? ಟು ದ ಆಥರ್. ಹೂ ಈಸ್ ದ ಆಥರ್? ಎಲ್ ಹೆಂಡ್ರಿಕ್ಸ್. ಪರ್ಹ್ಯಾಪ್ಸ್ he thinks the blacks will in the end rule over the whites. One day or the other day the blacks will rule over the whites. Now I will try to clarify. Now I am here. I clarify his doubts and drive away all the doubts from his mind. ಇವನ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿರೋಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡೌಟ್ಸನ್ನು ಕ್ಲಾರಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ತಗೋ, ಈಗ ಆ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಗೇಟ್ ಅವನ ಬಳಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ, ಅವನಲ್ಲಿರೋಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ನು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. Perhaps you are thinking that one day or the other the blacks will rule over the whites. The blacks will rule over the whites. I know you do so. For you just saw how the black commanded the white. But gentlemen, don't have any such wrong notions. For that's only a game. Just yesterday I saw the little white boy commanding the black boy. Only grown-ups are silly, aren't we? Said I. Perhaps you are thinking one day or the other day, black race rules over the white race. Black race, the black people, the blacks will rule over the whites. I know you do so. I know you think so. Because you just saw how the black boy commanded the white boy. But gentlemen, attention here. Don't have any such notion ಅಂತ ಭಾವನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಡ, ಗಮನಿಸೋ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದಟ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಎ ಗೇಮ್. ಇದು ಗೇಮ್ ಮಾತ್ರ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ just yesterday I saw the white boy commanding the black boy. Yesterday, so white boy was commanding. Today, black boy is commanding. Only grown-ups, we are silly, aren't we? ನಾವೇ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಸಿಲ್ಲಿ ಥರ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಅಂಥದ್ದು, ಹೌದಲ್ವೇ ಅಂದ. ದ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ವಾಸ್ ಸರ್ಪ್ರೈಸ್ಡ್ ಅಟ್ ಮೈ ಔಟ್ಬರ್ಸ್ಟ್. ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ದ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ವಾಸ್ ಸರ್ಪ್ರೈಸ್ಡ್. ದ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ವಾಸ್ ಸರ್ಪ್ರೈಸ್ಡ್ ಅಟ್ ಮೈ ಔಟ್ಬರ್ಸ್ಟ್. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಔಟ್ಬರ್ಸ್ಟ್? ಎ ಸಡನ್ ಪವರ್ಫುಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್. ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಫೀಲಿಂಗನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿಕೊಂಡ ತಕ್ಷಣವೇ ದ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ವಾಸ್ ಸರ್ಪ್ರೈಸ್ಡ್. ಅವನಿಗೆ ಆಶ್ಚರ್ಯ ಆಯಿತು. ಹಿ ಲುಕ್ಡ್ ಅಟ್ ಮೀ ಸ್ಮೈಲಿಂಗ್. ನಗುತ್ತಾ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಅವನ ಕಡೆ. ಐ ನೋ ಆಲ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಗೇಮ್, ಹಿ ಸೆಡ್. ಈ ಗೇಮ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನನಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತು ಕಣ್ರಿ. ದ ಬಾಯ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಬ್ರದರ್ಸ್, ಮೈ ಸನ್ಸ್. ಹುಡುಗರು ನನ್ನ ಇಬ್ರು ಬ್ರದರ್ಸ್ ಕಣ್ರಿ, ನನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳವರು. ಹಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟೆಡ್ ಟು ದ ಫೇರ್ ಬ್ರೌನ್ ವುಮನ್ ಆನ್ ದ ವರಾಂಡಾ ಹೂ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಕಮ್ ಔಟ್ ಟು ಕಾಲ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್. ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನು ಕರೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತಂದೇಳಿ ಒಬ್ಬಾಕೆ ಮನೆಯಿಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾಳೆ. ಅವಳನ್ನು ತೋರಿಸಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಶಿ ಈಸ್ ಮೈ ವೈಫ್. ದಟ್ಸ್ ಮೈ ವೈಫ್. ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ಐ ಸ್ಮೈಲ್ಡ್. ಮೈ ಸ್ಪಿರಿಟ್ ಲಾಫ್ಡ್ ವಿತ್ ಇನ್ ಮೀ. ಒಳಗೇನೆ ಸ್ಪಿರಿಟ್ ಲಾಫ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಆತ್ಮ ನಗುತ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಜಮೈಕಾ. ಇದೇ ಜಮೈಕಾ. ಐ ಸೆಡ್ ಟು ಮೈ ಹಾರ್ಟ್, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಜಮೈಕಾ, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೈ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ, ಮೈ ಪೀಪಲ್. ಇದು ನನ್ನ ದೇಶ, ಇವರು ನನ್ನ ಜನಗಳೇ. ಐ ಲುಕ್ಡ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ವೈಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್. ನಾನು ವೈಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಡೆ ನೋಡಿದೆ. ಹೀ ಸ್ಮೈಲ್ಡ್ ಅಟ್ ಮೀ. ಹೂ ಸ್ಮೈಲ್ಡ್ ಅಟ್ ಮೀ? ಹೀ ಸ್ಮೈಲ್ಡ್ ಅಟ್ ಮೀ. ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಮಿಸ್ ದ ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಇಫ್ ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಹರಿ. ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಮಿಸ್ ದ ಟ್ರೈನ್. ನೋಡಪ್ಪ, ನಾವೇನಾದರೂ ಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವೇನನ್ನ ಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇವೆ? ಟ್ರೈನನ್ನು ಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇವೆ. ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಹೀಗೆ ನಾವು ಗಮನಿಸ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸಿ ದ ಕಾಂಪ್ರಿಹೆನ್ಷನ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, C1 ನೋಡಿ. ವೈ ವಾಸ್ ದ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ವಾಕ್ ಪ್ಲೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಟು ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ A.L. ಹೆಂಡ್ರಿಕ್ಸ್? The morning walk was pleasant to A.L. Hendricks because on the either side of the road, red and green roofed bungalows, green lawns and gardens are found. The exercise for him is good. Right. So morning walk was pleasant. Number 2. The exercise is good for me, says the narrator. What was that exercise? To go to walk on the road. The walking exercise is good for him. Right. What did the narrator notice one morning? The narrator one day noticed the two children playing in the garden. The white boy was commanding the black boy. Right. How did the smaller boy behave while playing with the bigger boy? Smaller boy, bigger boy. Smaller boy, bigger boy. Who is here smaller boy? Who is here bigger boy? Right. See, the bigger of the two was dark. Here, bigger boy is dark boy. Bigger boy is dark boy. Black boy. The smaller boy is white boy. Now the question is, how did the smaller boy behave while playing with the bigger boy? About the smaller boy. The smaller boy is the white boy. The white boy was commanding the bigger boy. The white boy gave 3 commands. First one is pick up that stick. Second command is jump into the flowers. Third command is get me some water. What is the first command? Pick up that stick. What is the second command? Jump into the flowers. The third command is given by the white boy, that is get me some water. Get me some water. Right. Come to C2. What sight surprised the narrator the next day? What sight surprised the narrator the next day? The next day, as usual, the narrator took the walk on the road. He saw that day the black boy was commanding the white boy. This was the surprise to our author. What was the surprise to author, you know? Yes, this was the surprise to narrator. Okay. Next one. What were the 2 commands given by the black boy to the white boy? 2 commands. The first command, which was given by the dark boy, was get me a banana. The second command given by the black boy was peel it for me. Get me a banana, first command. Peel it for me, second command. Right. Why do you think the narrator smiled at the end? Why do you think the narrator smiled at the end? The narrator looked at the man who was standing at the gate of his house. The narrator imagined this man looking at the two boys, might think that the black people would rule the white people one day. The narrator went to clarify his doubts. Then the man standing at the gate said that he knew that game and those two children were his sons. For that reason, knowing his foolishness, the narrator laughed at himself, smiled at himself. Did you understand, students? Come to. Right. What similarities and differences can you make out between the two boys? What similarities, what differences do you find between the two boys, dark boy and white boy? Right. Dark boy and white boy. Yes. Dark boy and white boy. Right. Okay. The similarities and differences we find between these two are, right? See, they were both very little boys. One was 4 years old, perhaps. Another was 5 years. The bigger of the two was a sturdy youngster, very dark boy, the bigger boy. Sturdy youngster, bigger boy, very dark, with a mat of coarse hair on his head. A mat of coarse hair on his head. And coal black eyes. Coal black eyes. He was definitely a little Jamaican, strong little Jamaican. The other little fellow was smaller. Another one was smaller boy. Right? But he was sturdy. Both were sturdy. He was white. White boy. In color, white boy with hazel eyes. Hazel eyes. With hazel eyes and light brown hair. Light brown hair. Both were dressed in blue shirts and khaki pants. Blue shirts and khaki pants. See, students, right? They wore no shoes and their feet were muddy. So their feet, muddy feet, muddy feet. Students, attention here, look at the board, all of you. So one is dark boy, one is white boy. Color, difference in color. So one is black, one is white. Then so black boy was the bigger boy, the white boy was the smaller boy. Right. The course of air on his head. A mat of course air on his head of the dark boy, but light brown air on the head of so white boy. And so dark boy's eye was the coal black eye and white boy's eye was the hazel eye. Coming to the common things between these two, both boys were sturdy, both boys were dressed in blue shirts and khaki pants, and both boys' feet were muddy. Did you understand, children? Did you understand this lesson? So I will continue later. Thank you, one and all.